just when many people thought the Duggar family controversies were finally beginning to fade from public attention. A shocking new wave of legal speculation, family tension, and online accusations has suddenly thrown the family back into the spotlight once again. Now, new reports are claiming that Kendra Duggar may be growing increasingly distant from her own parents as pressure surrounding the Duggar family reportedly intensifies behind the scenes. But that's only part of the story. Because a newly discussed court filing connected to Joseph Duggar has now sparked a massive internet debate after online commentators claimed the wording may have indirectly revealed the identity of an alleged victim tied to the growing controversy. And the reactions have been explosive. Social media users are now asking, why would Kendra reportedly distance herself from her family now? What exactly was written in the court filing? Did Joe Duggar accidentally confirm more than intended? And could this situation create even deeper fractures inside one of reality television's most controversial families? As speculation spreads across the internet, longtime Duggar critics and supporters alike are once again dissecting every public detail, every reported legal move, and every possible behind-the-scenes development surrounding the family. Because tonight, we're breaking down the reported family distancing, the legal discussions, the growing online theories, and the intense public reactions that have suddenly placed the Duggars back under a microscope once again. And as more people begin connecting the dots, many are wondering whether this controversy could become one of the most damaging Duggar stories in years. So buckle up, because this situation is far more complicated than it first appears. For years, the 19 Kids and Counting family built an empire around the image of faith, unity, and traditional family values. Through hit shows like 19 Kids and Counting and later Counting On, millions of viewers watched the Duggar children grow up on national television. But as the years passed, the family's carefully crafted public image began unraveling under the weight of repeated scandals, lawsuits, and growing public criticism. Now, just when many people thought the Duggar controversies had finally started fading from the spotlight, a brand new wave of online speculation is once again pulling multiple members of the family back into the center of public debate, especially Kendra Duggar and Joe Duggar. According to rapidly spreading rumors online, Kendra's relationship with her own parents may reportedly be growing increasingly strained as fresh legal controversies surrounding the Duggar family continue attracting negative media attention. At the same time, a controversial court-related filing connected to Joe Duggar has ignited intense backlash across social media. Some online critics believe specific wording in the filing may have unintentionally narrowed down or indirectly hinted at details involving an alleged victim connected to the broader legal situation. Others strongly disagree. Supporters of the Duggar family argue that internet users are reading far too deeply into routine legal language and turning speculation into viral conspiracy theories. They believe many online discussions have spiraled far beyond the facts currently available to the public. Critics, however, see the situation very differently. They argue that the timing of multiple controversies happening simultaneously is difficult to ignore, especially given the Duggar family's long history of public scandals, internal fallout, and legal scrutiny. And now, discussions are spreading rapidly across YouTube commentary channels, Reddit forums, TikTok videos, and Duggar-focused social media communities, where thousands of users are debating what these developments could mean for the future of the family's already damaged public image. Some believe this may become one of the biggest Duggar-related controversies of the year. Others think it could expose even deeper divisions quietly growing behind the scenes within the extended Duggar family itself. Tonight, we're taking a closer look at the reported fallout involving Kendra Duggar and her parents. The court filing that sparked major online outrage. Why internet speculation is escalating so quickly, how fans, critics, and commentators are reacting, and what could happen next as legal scrutiny surrounding the Duggar family continues intensifying. One of the biggest reasons this story has captured so much public attention is because it may point to growing fractures not only inside the Duggar family itself, but also among relatives connected to them through marriage and long-standing family ties. For years, the Duggar family built an image centered around unity, loyalty, and close-knit relationships. Public appearances, television specials, interviews, and social media posts often reinforced the idea that the family remained deeply connected no matter what challenges they faced. But as controversies surrounding the family continued piling up over time, many viewers began questioning whether that image was becoming harder to maintain behind closed doors. Now, according to growing online speculation, some fans believe that Kendra Duggar may be quietly creating distance between herself and certain family members, especially her parents, as legal scrutiny and public criticism surrounding the broader Duggar family continues intensifying. It is important to emphasize that no official statement has confirmed a complete estrangement or major family fallout. However, internet observers have pointed to several subtle changes that they believe may suggest tension behind the scenes. Supporters frequently mention reduced public interactions, fewer joint appearances, less visible engagement online, and noticeable silence across social media platforms compared to previous years. For longtime Duggar followers, even small changes in public behavior often trigger intense speculation, because the family historically shared so much of their lives publicly through reality television and online content. When relatives suddenly appear less connected, fans immediately begin analyzing every detail. Many viewers remember Kendra as one of the more positive and soft-spoken personalities connected to the Duggar family circle. Compared to some other relatives who became associated with controversy, Kendra was often viewed as relatively removed from major public disputes. That reputation made recent rumors especially surprising to some followers, but public perception surrounding the Duggar family has shifted dramatically over the years. As legal controversies, media investigations, and public criticism continued growing, some observers began wondering whether extended relatives might eventually attempt to separate themselves from the Duggar name altogether. In today's online environment, critics argue that even indirect associations can bring intense scrutiny, particularly when major family scandals dominate headlines for long periods of time. That pressure can create difficult situations for relatives trying to balance personal loyalty with public reputation. Some online commentators believe Kendra could now be facing exactly that dilemma, caught between standing by her husband's family and managing the growing public backlash surrounding ongoing Duggar controversies. Others speculate that her parents may simply prefer stepping away from media attention entirely after years of seeing the Duggar name tied to controversy after controversy. And for extended family members who never sought fame themselves, that level of public exposure can become exhausting very quickly. Over the years, multiple Duggar relatives and in-laws have faced relentless online discussions, viral commentary videos, tabloid coverage, and social media speculation. Even family members with little direct involvement in controversies sometimes found themselves pulled into public debate simply because of their association with the family. That reality may explain why some relatives could choose to become more private over time. Another factor fueling speculation is the Duggar family's long-standing emphasis on loyalty and public unity. Critics argue that when a family strongly promotes togetherness as part of its public image, even small signs of distancing become far more noticeable to outsiders. A missing appearance at an event, silence during controversy, or reduced interaction online can suddenly spark massive discussion among followers looking for clues about internal relationships. Supporters of the family, however, caution against reading too deeply into internet speculation. Some fans argue that reduced visibility may have nothing to do with conflict at all. They point out that many reality television families eventually become more private simply to protect their children and personal lives from non-stop public attention. Others note that social media silence does not automatically prove family tension. Still, the speculation continues growing because viewers believe the stakes surrounding the Duggar family image are now higher than ever. For years, the family brand depended heavily on public trust, religious values, and the appearance of stability. But repeated controversies have caused many former supporters to reconsider how they view the family entirely. As a result, every rumored disagreement, every alleged distancing, and every reported fracture now receives enormous public attention online. And according to many internet observers, this latest wave of speculation involving Kendra and her parents may represent something even larger than one private family disagreement. To critics, it symbolizes the possibility that the Duggar family's influence over its extended circle may be weakening as legal issues and public scrutiny continue mounting. To supporters, however, the rumors may simply reflect outsiders attempting to create drama from limited information. Either way, the growing discussions have once again pushed the Duggar family back into the center of online controversy, and many viewers believe the situation may only become more intense as additional legal developments continue unfolding. At the center of the newest controversy is a court-related filing connected to Joseph Duggar that has now become the focus of widespread online analysis and debate. Almost immediately after online discussions about the filing began circulating, internet commentators started dissecting the wording line by line, searching for hidden meaning, legal implications, and possible clues buried inside the language itself. Some critics claim the filing may have unintentionally revealed too much information through references connected to locations, property descriptions, timelines, or contextual relationships that they believe could narrow down speculation surrounding an alleged victim's identity. Others strongly disagree with that interpretation. Supporters argue that people online are dangerously overanalyzing what may simply be standard procedural wording, commonly used in legal motions and court documentation every single day. According to that side of the debate, legal filings are often technical, repetitive, and structured around requirements that have little to do with public messaging. But regardless of intent, the controversy spread incredibly fast. Within hours, YouTube commentary channels, Duggar-focused discussion groups, Reddit threads, and TikTok creators were all debating the same question. Did the filing cross an ethical line, or has internet speculation itself spiraled completely out of control? That question quickly became the emotional center of the controversy. One major reason the situation has become so explosive is because legal filings are often interpreted very differently by the public than they are by attorneys, judges, or court officials. Language that may appear routine or procedural inside a courtroom can suddenly sound highly suspicious once it enters the world of social media analysis, reaction videos, and viral speculation. And in the age of online commentary, even a single sentence can trigger thousands of competing interpretations almost instantly. Some viewers believe the filing demonstrates poor judgment, especially considering the sensitivity surrounding past Duggar controversies and the public scrutiny attached to the family's name. Critics argue that individuals connected to highly public legal situations should be extremely cautious about wording, especially when discussions involve alleged victims or potentially identifying details. But others believe the backlash reflects a growing problem with internet culture itself. They argue that online communities sometimes build entire narratives around fragments of incomplete information, turning ordinary legal language into viral controversy before all the facts are fully understood. That divide has only intensified the conversation, because for many longtime observers of the Duggar family, this story is not being viewed in isolation. Instead, people are connecting it to years of previous scandals, public apologies, media coverage, and ongoing distrust surrounding the family's public image. As a result, emotions online have become incredibly intense. For some former viewers, the filing reopened frustrations that have existed for years. For others, the reaction feels unfair, exaggerated, or driven more by internet outrage than verified facts. And throughout all of it, one important distinction continues getting lost inside many online conversations. Allegations are not the same thing as proven facts. That difference matters legally, ethically, and publicly. Court filings, online theories, and public speculation can all create powerful narratives long before courts actually reach conclusions or clarify context. But on social media, nuance often disappears quickly. Instead, complicated legal language becomes condensed into viral headlines, reaction clips, and emotionally charged debates that spread far faster than verified information. And because the Duggar family remains one of reality television's most controversial families, even minor legal developments now generate enormous public attention almost immediately. What may have once remained a relatively unnoticed procedural filing has instead transformed into another massive internet controversy, one fueled by speculation, distrust, emotional reactions, and years of accumulated public scrutiny surrounding the Duggar name. One major reason this story has attracted such intense public attention is because the Duggar family's public reputation has already been shaped by years of controversy, criticism, and highly publicized scandals. For a long time, the family represented a very specific image to television audiences: a large, deeply religious family that promoted traditional values, strict parenting, and a tightly controlled lifestyle through reality television. Millions of viewers watched their lives unfold on screen for years, which created an unusually strong emotional connection between the family and the public. But as controversies surrounding the family grew over time, that image began to shift dramatically. Instead of simply being viewed as reality television personalities, the Duggars gradually became associated with repeated public debates involving accountability, secrecy, family power dynamics, and the way personal scandals were allegedly handled behind closed doors. Because of that history, every new Duggar-related headline now carries far more emotional weight than a typical celebrity rumor. Even minor legal developments or vague online reports can instantly trigger enormous public reactions because many people believe these stories connect to much larger concerns that have existed for years. For critics of the family, stories like this are viewed as part of an ongoing pattern. Some internet commentators argue that continued scrutiny is justified because they believe unanswered questions, and past controversies created long-term distrust surrounding the family's public image. Others, however, believe online reactions have gone too far. Supporters and more neutral observers often argue that the internet has developed an obsession with analyzing every rumor connected to the Duggar name, even when verified facts remain limited or unclear. That tension between skepticism and speculation is one reason conversations surrounding the family become so emotionally charged. People are not simply reacting to one court filing or one rumor. They are reacting to years of accumulated opinions, frustrations, media narratives, and emotional investment connected to the family's history. And in today's social media environment, emotionally charged stories spread incredibly fast. Platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, Facebook, and X amplify controversy almost instantly, especially when a story already involves recognizable public figures with a controversial history. Within hours of discussions surrounding the court filing and rumors about Kendra's reported distancing from relatives, reaction videos, commentary posts, live-stream discussions, and online debates began appearing across multiple platforms. Some creators focused heavily on the legal filing itself. Others centered their discussions around the possibility of growing tension between relatives and what that could mean for the Duggar family's public image moving forward. Meanwhile, comment sections quickly became divided. Some viewers expressed sympathy for Kendra, arguing that anyone connected to prolonged controversy would naturally want distance from public scrutiny and non-stop online speculation. Others questioned whether reported distancing between family members could genuinely reflect deeper private disagreements happening behind the scenes. And many viewers simply expressed confusion, saying they wanted more verified information before drawing conclusions. That uncertainty has only fueled further speculation, because so much of the discussion currently relies on interpretation, rumors, and online analysis rather than fully confirmed public facts. The conversation continues evolving almost in real time. And that creates the exact kind of environment that keeps internet attention locked onto stories like this for days, or sometimes even weeks. At this point, the Duggar name alone is powerful enough to generate massive engagement online. Whether people are longtime critics, former fans, casual observers, or simply curious viewers following the controversy, Stories involving the family now tend to spark immediate emotional reactions and widespread public debate. As the controversy surrounding the Duggar family continues spreading across social media platforms, many viewers are now beginning to ask a much larger question. What happens next, at this stage? Much of the online conversation remains driven by speculation, interpretation, and public reaction rather than confirmed legal outcomes. But even when no major court decision has been announced, the sheer amount of attention surrounding a case can still create enormous pressure for everyone involved. And for the Duggar family, public image has already become an incredibly fragile issue. For years, the family built its reputation around presenting a carefully controlled image of faith, unity, and traditional values through reality television appearances and public speaking. But after repeated controversies and legal scandals connected to the family over the last several years, many former supporters now view every new development through a far more skeptical lens. That history is a major reason why even relatively small legal filings or family rumors can suddenly explode into major internet discussions almost overnight. Many online observers believe the biggest immediate consequence may not necessarily be legal, but reputational. Because once public trust begins deteriorating, every new controversy tends to reinforce previous concerns in the minds of viewers. Even unrelated family members can become pulled into public scrutiny simply because of their association with the Duggar name. That may explain why reports of distancing inside the extended family have attracted so much attention online. Some commentators believe certain relatives may now be attempting to protect their own families, personal reputations, or future opportunities by creating more separation from ongoing controversies. Whether those rumors are accurate or exaggerated, the perception alone has become a major topic across social media discussions. And perception can often shape headlines just as much as verified facts. Legally, however, experts frequently remind the public that internet reactions do not determine court outcomes. Courts generally focus on evidence, procedural rules, filings, witness testimony, and established legal standards, not viral commentary threads or online theories. That distinction is extremely important because many discussions circulating online involve assumptions that have not been formally confirmed. Still, the relationship between legal cases and public opinion has become increasingly complicated in the social media era. Today, online narratives can influence media coverage, fuel public pressure campaigns, and create non-stop attention around developing cases. In highly recognizable families like the Duggars, every update can rapidly become national discussion material within hours. That constant visibility creates another challenge: media monitoring. Commentary channels, bloggers, Reddit communities, TikTok creators, and entertainment news outlets are now watching nearly every Duggar-related development in real time. Court filings, social media activity, public appearances, and even silence itself can become subjects of intense analysis. In many ways, the family now exists under a permanent internet microscope. And because audiences remain emotionally invested in earlier Duggar controversies, reactions to new stories tend to escalate very quickly. Some viewers believe the family's long-running attempt to maintain a unified public image may become increasingly difficult if more relatives begin quietly stepping away from public association. Others believe the family may eventually release statements attempting to calm speculation or clarify misinformation before the situation grows even larger online. But at the moment, uncertainty appears to be fueling even more attention. Every vague report, every rumored disagreement, and every legal update is now being examined by thousands of online users searching for deeper meaning behind the scenes. And in the modern internet cycle, stories rarely disappear quickly once audiences become emotionally invested. In fact, many commentators believe this situation could continue evolving for weeks or even months ahead, especially if additional legal filings, family responses, or public statements emerge in the near future. For now, the Duggar family once again finds itself facing a familiar reality. In today's digital world, controversies no longer stay confined to courtrooms or private family discussions. They unfold publicly, continuously, and often unpredictably. with millions of people watching every step of the story as it develops. Whether these reported family tensions ultimately turn out to be temporary distancing, major internal fallout, or simply exaggerated online speculation remains unclear. At this stage, much of the conversation surrounding the situation continues to be driven by online discussion, social media interpretation, and public reaction rather than fully confirmed information. And that's an important distinction to remember. Still, one thing has become impossible to ignore. The Duggar family once again finds itself at the center of intense public scrutiny. Between the reported strain involving Kendra Duggar and her parents, the controversial court-related filing connected to Joseph Duggar, and the enormous wave of internet reactions now spreading across social platforms, this story has rapidly evolved into one of the most talked-about Duggar controversies in recent months. For longtime followers of the family, the situation also reopens larger conversations that have surrounded the Duggars for years, including public trust, reputation management, media exposure, and the lasting impact of past scandals connected to Bob Duggar and the broader Duggar family brand. And as often happens online, speculation can sometimes move faster than verified reporting. That's why separating confirmed legal facts from internet theories will remain extremely important as this situation continues developing. Court filings, social media reactions, and anonymous online claims do not always tell the full story, and public opinion can shift very quickly as new information emerges. At the same time, controversies like this tend to leave a lasting impact regardless of the final outcome. Even rumors and allegations alone can reshape how audiences view public figures, especially families whose lives have been documented so publicly for years. For the Duggars, the biggest challenge moving forward may not only involve legal sensitivity or media attention, but also whether the family can continue maintaining any remaining public support amid repeated waves of controversy. And for viewers watching everything unfold online, the fascination seems unlikely to disappear anytime soon. As more discussions continue circulating across social media and additional details potentially emerge, many people will be watching closely to see whether this situation quietly fades away or becomes yet another major turning point in the Duggar family's long and controversial public history. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.